let me talk about how I work through technical issues like that. That's probably the best way of answering this question. The number one thing I do is I usually refer, so if I've hit a wall with a technical issue, in fact, there are certain things I do before I refer to the manual. If I hit a technical wall, I will, first of all, say to myself, stop. What am I actually trying to do here? So this is a zooming out question, yeah? Am I actually trying to do this precise thing that I want to do, right? So route this through that. Because usually what I'm actually trying to do is a zoomed out thing, which is I'd really like to be able to play this through this, or I'd really like to have that coming out of there so that I can separate those two things. And then I'll ask myself, well, why am I doing that? Well, the reason I'm doing that is because I want to do this, which is yet another higher level. So I keep on asking myself, well, why am I doing those things? Until I get to the point where it's just like, I'm just doing it because I want to make music, because that's kind of useless. But as you zoom out through the kind of levels of why am I actually plugging this thing in here to make this work through there? What is the actual reason? You kind of progressively zoom out. You ask why, until you get to, well, a kind of compositional reason, or maybe a workflow reason that makes sense to you, because I want to be quicker doing this. When you get to that level, a useful level, you know, not to the point where, because I want to leave a legacy for my children, you know, that's not useful in this case, but you know, when you get to because when you ask why multiple times, you go up, always zoom out. Almost always you'll zoom out to kind of higher levels of why you're doing something, yeah? So when you get to a useful level, you say, well, before you go into the technical thing, yeah, often you'll go, well, is that the only way of doing this? And usually the answer to that question will be no, it's not the only way of doing this. I could get a similar or maybe even better result by doing something else, by doing it a different way, which I already know how to do. Right? Thereby, what you've done, not only have you avoided a rabbit hole of epic proportions of trying to do something a certain way, you've also zoomed out of the technical detail and got a much more broad view of why you are doing what you are doing. And often you'll find an even better way of doing it. So you've not only sidestepped something, you've also improved your understanding of what you're doing. So that's what I would suggest, because it's very easy to get obsessed with, but I actually want to do this specific thing, right? Like, and what I always do before I start going into troubleshoot mode, this isn't working as I expected, therefore, is I will zoom out. And it just saves so much time. And you find your own ways of doing things often, because you can just end up in an internet rabbit hole of, you know, hours and hours and hours. Okay. So I haven't answered your question, but maybe I've given you some insight on how I deal with technical issues like this.